So, harmonic balancers, quite possibly the most exciting thing you can talk about on a classic Ford. Why, you might ask? Because Ford messed around with those suckers a lot more than you might think they did. And after the break, that's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Restoration of a classic Ford is a journey of discovery. Let Autocrafters help you with yours. We offer quality parts for Falcon, Fairlane, F-Series, Galaxy, Maverick, and Pinto. Contact us today.
Okay, so why am I talking about harmonic balancers today? Well, simply put, it's something that's kind of an interesting problem in the Ford community. Anything that is a Windsor that Ford put into a car between, let's say, 1962 and 2001, when they stopped production on the Windsor, there are two different changes that Ford made to the harmonic balancing system on these engines. And what I'm going to talk about to you right now is what that means and what that means to you in a classic car sense. Because let's say you've got a 67 Mustang like the one back behind me and you want to put, I don't know, a CVF serpentine belt system on the car. You need to know what balancer is in that car. And you may not know because you have no flippin' idea what Joe Schmo, who had the car before you, put in there. It could be an absolutely correct 1967 289, or it could be a 5.0 out of an 85 GT Mustang, or it could be a slapped together piece of crap that was in a pickup truck in 1972. You just don't know. And that's the stuff you need to know. I will tell you this. Ford didn't change the balance on these engines until 1981-ish. You're going to hear me say that a couple of times here because Ford is notorious for ish changes. What I mean by that is it's kind of a running change. You can have a 1981 that is a 28-ounce imbalance, which is the same thing Ford ran from 1962 all the way up through 1981, or you can have an 81 that is a 50-ounce imbalance, which they ran from 1981-ish until 2001. The only way you can tell is by looking at the harmonic balancer, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. First, I'm going to talk about this, though. Let's say you're doing this and you want to find out. You look down at the engine and on the harmonic balancer and you're looking for something specific. You're looking for 3 bolts or 4. Inside the hub of your main pulley on that crank system, there will either be 4 bolts, which is 1969-ish, through the rest of production in 2001 when it shut down, or it can be a 3-bolt, which is 1969-ish, all the way back to 1962. You just got to feel around and check with your fingers. If you can put your fingers on it, and there's 4 there, you know you've got a 1969-ish on-up setup. So that's one of the big things you're looking at on this. The other thing is the imbalance, because that's going to become a problem whenever you're starting to look at doing like an AOD update like we did on the 69 Fairlane wagon, and we're planning on doing on the 67 back here behind me. We're going to a 4R70W, and that requires a 164-tooth flex plate. With the 164-tooth flex plate, you can have a 50-ounce imbalance, which is what started in 1981-ish. 82 on up, it's all 50-ounce imbalance. But if you try to put a 164-tooth flywheel on there and you get the 50-ounce imbalance and you put it with a 28-ounce imbalance harmonic balancer, you get vibration. You get vibration to the point that you won't be able to drive the car. So you want to make sure that you get those two things talking nicely to each other. And the best way to know which one you have is to look at the photographs I'm putting up right now. Now, the photograph on my left is the 28-ounce imbalance harmonic balancer. The one on my right here is the 50-ounce imbalance balancer. Now, what I'm trying to show you here is this. You can look at the back of these balancers and there's one key thing to let you know whether you have a 28-ounce or you have a 50-ounce, and that is this. The 28-ounce always has the pie-shaped weight in the center part of the balancer. I don't care what the outer ring is doing. What's important to note is that balance weight in the center part. If it doesn't have that, like the one over here on my right, that tells you that it's a 50-ounce imbalance. Plus, It's got a really big meaty ring on it, kind of like a Boss 302 or a 289 Hypo would have on it for the balancing system on it. Now, lest you think Ford had a thing for consistency, I don't know why you would think that with all we've talked about here, this is the balancer that they used from 1970 until sometimes in the early 70s. I am not specifically sure of the date, but we're not really worried about dates so much. We're only worried about what this thing looks like, because they went to this. Now, this balancer bears a striking resemblance to this balancer, which is the one that they went to in 1981-ish. There is a difference though, and I'm going to pull this one up to a full size so you can see it. The balancer that I'm showing you right now, you'll notice that there is a dive at the back of the balancer so that it has a smaller ring. The one for the 81-ish on up cars, the 50-ounce imbalance, does not have that dip at the back of the ring. Gone is the pie-shaped piece that so much defines the earlier balancers. I don't know why they did this. I don't know why they changed that and then they went to a 50-ounce imbalance like 5 or 6 years later or 7 years later, but they did. Now, some guy's going to ask me, why did Ford go to a 50-ounce imbalance? And I'm going to tell you, I really don't know. The biggest reason I think they did it was to make it a little easier on balancing the internal rotating assemblies on these, because they have to be less sticky about how they balance that stuff inside. And it's also a little less mass on the inside of the engine because they did change the crank systems on those as well. So that's what that's all about. Is that everything on this? Absolutely, pretty much. I don't think there's anything else I can really tell you. Just understand that when you're doing this, you have two changes. You have the change to the 4-bolt from the 3-bolt. Then you have the change in 81-ish to the 50-ounce imbalance. 82 on up, everything is a 50-ounce imbalance. 82, well, I should say 81-ish on back is actually the 28-ounce imbalance. Bada bing, bada boom. And the way to tell them apart is what I just showed you in the photographs. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the section below so we can answer the questions for you. And if there's something that I didn't really detail out on this that you guys would like to see, we can probably do a YouTube short on it down the road, just to kind of clear some of this up. But I thought it was kind of important because, quite frankly, it took me a couple of days to really solidify this information, and I still don't have it completely solidified up in my brain. Sometimes there's days like that in my life where it's just, I understand what I'm saying, it's just hard to get that out to you guys. That makes sense. Speaking of making sense, do me a favor and check out the Patreon account. At the $10 a month level, you get monthly meetings with me on Zoom. What the money on the Patreon account goes to is to pay poor Andrew, who is just so put upon in life, and he has to work with me. Poor bugger, I don't even know how he does it, but he does. Probably where his drinking problem came from, which we're getting him therapy for. I'm just kidding, he doesn't have a drinking problem that I know of. He hasn't told me about it. But what the money does is it goes to pay Andrew, and it also goes to pay the kids. Hey, and if we've done anything to help you out, if we have improved your car by us being able to show you how to do something yourself, wouldn't it be nice to just go in there and like join up on Patreon and become a supporter? Anywhere from $1, I don't care, put $1 in a month. If that's all you can afford, that's fine. You don't even have to do it at all, because there's also the super thanks. It's got to be the worst. I don't know what marketing genius did that at YouTube, but right on, bro. They're probably having a kale salad and some kind of Greek smoothie when they came up with that. I have the super thanks. Anyway, it's down over here, or maybe over here. I don't know. Super thanks is also a way to put some money in the kitty for going, hey man, this video helped me out. And if you want to pay me enough, say $1.5 million, $2 million, to just shut down production completely, hey, whatever, you know, as long as I can retire and sip Coca-Colas and watch the sunset, it'll be okay. Also, got off on a diatribe without Cam today. Subscribe to the channel. We are at 95,525, not that I'm counting at all. So we're looking to get to 100,000. If you know channels like, I don't know, Cletus McFarland, you know, Freiburger. I worked with Freiburger for a while when I was with Mustang Monthly Magazine. Roadkill guys, tell them that we need the help. We just want to get over the 100,000 mark, and I swear I will shut up about subscriptions. I'll just have a little, Andrew and I'll make a little button that will go down in the bottom corner, probably about right there for subscriptions. Okay, and then you'll never hear from me. I won't say another thing, I'll just point at it or something. We'll be done. We would have already been done with this video. So if you want me to shut up about subscriptions, subscribe. We'll put the plaque on the wall. Paul will be happy. I'll be happy. It'll be good. Finally, folks, do me a favor. Be kind to each other, love on each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week, and we'll see ya on down the road. I'm not going to go back for it. You can figure it out. Just going to have Andrew figure that out. I've screwed that up the last couple months, and it's getting worse and worse. I think it's probably maybe I'm getting dementia. I don't know. Would I even know? If I got dementia, would I know? I mean, seriously. I don't know if I would even know. Of course, if I can't find keys around the house, that'll tell me I've got dementia, because that means somebody's trying to keep me from driving. So.
Cut.